Hello, this is Arvind from SE Wolf. Today we're going to talk about following up without burning your leads. So, everyone who's been into the sales training or been through any kind of marketing literature, they know that following up is important and is the key to more sales and all that. Two follow ups lead to this times the sales, and 90% of the leads are closed on 50 on the fifth follow up, and so on. Well, the thing is, nobody likes the follow ups if they're bad. So, the key to follow ups that are without burning your leads is to be creative. And every time you follow up with them, it should be maybe interesting or something new that they've not heard before, or something you have to be creative with the follow up whenever you're doing this. So, most people, when they follow up, it's like, yes, it's the end of the month, or this is our Diwali sale, it's our Christmas sale, it's our New Year sale, or and maybe just we just wanted to follow up. It's 20% off. It's 10% off. Always it is. They always it is 10% off. It never really changes. It's just the kind of thing, and it's not wrong to do this New Year sale and those kind of sales. Sometimes it works, but it's if it's the only thing that you're doing, you have very limited opportunity because the holidays they only come once in a year, so you can't rely on that. And the month end sales is also fine, but if you're doing it every month, then also it becomes obvious. And if you're doing follow up of people, maybe if they've not bought yet, you have to be creative in the sense that whenever you're going to follow up, maybe if it's on social media or if you're directly just calling them, if you do the same offers, if you come up with the same thing that I'll offer you 10% off, or you have to buy now, or it's going to close in 1 day, and those kind of things, that will work. But if you be being creative, you can follow up with them a long, long time. So, from where am I coming from this? See, if you go to the Instagram accounts or the social networking accounts like Facebook or LinkedIn, so if you see a brand there on that social network, if they're doing something, if they're offering the same kind of sale again and again, that is like 15% off on Wednesday every every week, if they're doing the same kind of promotions, you can kind of see on their page that their content is pretty much the same and it's predictable. People get turned off to whatever is predictable, they tune it off. So the same thing, if you look at it, happens when you're calling or messaging people. If it is something that is same, they will kind of tune it off. But if on your social networking or whatever way of communication that is there, if there's a sometimes if there's a story, if there's something that is interesting, if there's something that maybe it is professional related to this, but it's that not directly not selling them something, if it is something that looks at the objective objection from a different point of view, if it is something interesting, if it is something funny, they will not be tuned out. They'll not put you in that pile of it's a boring or commercial thing. They might actually listen to you. And if you're that kind of account, for example, I'll say it's a Instagram account, and they if you're updating it regularly with something that is new, some fresh content, if you are putting stuff out there that is actually happening maybe in your store, or you keep them updated, you build a relationship over time, and you nurture the leads. And that is an important word, that you have to nurture those leads in a way that you build a relationship. And it's not in the way that every time you go and ask for is a sale, or every time you go this you have to ask them that this you have to pay for the money. And basically you're just building a value in such a way that you are cool, and they're also okay with the services, okay with you, that in the sense that they don't think that every time you come up you're just selling, 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 and the only thing they want from uh, you want from them is their money. And it's easier said than done. Most people are not doing it. Go out and check the social networking accounts, especially Instagram. It's not easy to fuck around on those kind of accounts, because you can get away with a lot of stuff on other platforms, but this people are brutal on Instagram, in the sense that they'll directly just tune you off if you are boring, and people are not going to follow you or interact with you if they find that it's the same thing over and over again. And that's what is following up without burning your leads. So how does it apply in other aspects of your life? So if you are doing the same thing, if you're posting the same content, in the sense that you're messaging the same thing to your customer when you're maybe on the messaging apps, or when you're calling them, the message is same every time, or if you meet, your message is same, that you're just telling them about an offer, it is going to soon burn out your leads. And how many times can you go and visit that person or call that person till the time that they just stop picking your calls, because they know that every time you're going to call, it's going to be the same boring, yeah, I have this discount coming up, or we have this new year offer coming up, and those kind of things. So you have to nurture your list and build a relationship with your list, and you have to be interesting, you have to be relevant, you have to be on the point. You cannot just start a comic page or meme page and start telling jokes all of a sudden uh, to just make up for that. You have to be relevant, it should be related to your service or product. So you have to be interesting, and you have to follow up in different ways. You can follow up in different ways, in the sense you can be interesting about the offers, that you're the reason for the offer. If if you're doing offers, first of all there has to be a genuine reason for the offer that you're giving them. So it cannot just be that the old thing that it's a month end, so now it's a sale, or it's a clearance sale, or those kind of things, because those kind of things people get they do work, but people do get tired of this. You have to be creative. If you're following up maybe in a week, you cannot build up month end and clearance more than one or two times if you're following up. So you have to be creative. Maybe there's a different objection that you can cover in those ads. So what you can also do is, if you have different objections for your products, one by one you can cover them on your Instagram, or any of the social networking apps, in videos or photos. So one by one you can cover those objections. If there are some features that are there, one by one you can send pics or videos of those features and benefits on your social media accounts. So there are different ways to follow up without being boring or repetitive, or just let's say bugging them, or being a parasite, that every time you're nagging them, that they eventually have to block you, or delete your number, or maybe complain to the authorities that you're calling them too much. So don't do all this. So just because you have a lot of numbers, don't just keep burning your leads. You have to treat them with respect as people. If you look at them as people, as individual people who are getting your messages, so you might be respectful of what kind of communication you're doing. You wouldn't go to a person in person, you wouldn't go and say the same thing over and again to the same person. So why would you do that on Instagram, or while you're on those messaging apps? So be thoughtful of what kind of communication you do whenever you're following up with the leads. So this is the way you are going to eventually burn out some portion of your leads anyway. You can't control that, it's not 100% guaranteed, but if you do nurture them over time, and if you add value to them over time, so this you'll not burn out. So basically, I forgot to mention this. What when you're following up, you have to add value to them too. So whatever I was saying, being interesting or being relevant, it should be in a way that you are adding value instead of just asking questions all the time. So you can make statements when you're giving the benefits in this. So look at it as adding value. Following up in itself is not bad as long as you're adding value, and as long as you're adding value to people, you can follow up as many times as it possible. So I'll give an example of this. You can try it out today if you want. So message a friend instead of asking questions. If you just write statements or just send memes or whatever, adding value to their lives, you can send them 5 or 7 texts at a time. Do it with a friend, don't do it with a stranger, and ask them if it feels like, are you being like a creep who adds, who texts them too much, or they were actually happy with the messages. You can check, and most probably they would not be as surprised, or they would not get angry, because you would not come off as needy if you're just adding value, or if you're making statements and not asking questions. So this is something you can try it out. It's tested. It's not something I just came up with the head. It has been tested a lot of times. So this applies all over in your, whether it's your social media accounts, or whether it is your you're calling someone. So it doesn't matter which platform it is. This is the way you follow up with people without burning the leads. This is Harwin from SU World signing out. Thank you for listening.